Our planet is full of mysteries, from those that are hidden in the depths of the ocean to those that are between the clouds, just above us. And although many of them remain unsolved, some of the world's most famous mysteries already have a logical explanation. How did scientists solve those seemingly unsolvable historical mysteries? Do you think these solutions are feasible, or are they just a way for people to forget them? Prepare your common sense and explore the haunting mysteries that took years to solve. And for some extra fun, find our mascot Ned hiding throughout the video. The Windsor Hum. Since 2012, residents of the city of Windsor, Canada, began to hear strange buzzings that did not seem to come from anywhere. People who could hear the hum define it as a sound similar to that made by idle engines or a noisy refrigerator. Many people attributed the noise to secret government experiments or even aliens. But the explanation turned out to be much simpler. Everything seemed to indicate that the strange hum is coming from a steel plant located in Zug Island, Detroit, United States, which is close to Windsor. According to the researchers, the sound came from one or more machines used to make steel. The noise must be unbearable for the workers at that plant. The fairy circles of the Namib Desert. These fairy circles are round holes that are formed and distributed very evenly in the arid grasslands of the Namib Desert in southern Africa. Some legends about the origin of these circles affirm that they are the footprints left by the gods when passing through here, or that they're the traces or fairies that joined their hands and began to dance in a circle. However, a group of Australian and Israeli scientists came to the conclusion that these strange formations were due to the combination of three factors: soil erosion from heavy rains, extreme heat, and evaporation. So these fairy circles are nothing more than side effects of natural processes on the planet. Even so, there may be the possibility that once formed, the fairies will perform their dances within these holes. We will never know. The Tunguska Explosion. On June 30th, 1908, in a place in Siberia known as the middle of nowhere, a strange explosion destroyed nearly 80 million trees in an area comparable to Rhode Island, United States. For more than 100 years, people speculated about the origin of this explosion, assuring that it had been caused by a black hole, antimatter, aliens, or a natural gas explosion. The truth is that the Tunguska explosion was due to a small asteroid that disintegrated in the Earth's atmosphere, causing a massive impact wave in the forest. This also explains the lights that were seen in the sky for a few hours afterwards, which were generated by the heat of the impact and the ice that the asteroid had. This is still a quite impressive event. The ghost behind Grandma. Photographer Dennis Russell claims that the ghost of his grandfather, who died in 1984, appeared in a family photo of his grandmother, mother, and sister in 1997. But it was only in 2000 that the family realized this fact. When reviewing the photographic memories and recognizing the silhouette of his grandfather posing behind who was once his wife. Although the Russell family claims that it is their grandfather who appears in the photo, after careful analysis, researchers have concluded that it is a simple shadow created by the trees near the place. Despite the logical explanation, it is still very nice to think that Grandpa shared a little moment with his family, even after his passing. Why did the Mayan civilization collapse? The Mayans were one of the most prosperous and successful civilizations in ancient times, making numerous advances in astronomy, science, and agriculture. Because of this, it was very strange to science that the Mayans disappeared all of a sudden during the 700s of the Common Era. The most accepted theories for many years were that they were defeated by a rival civilization or that the working classes went against their rulers. However, in 2012, Arizona State University study concluded that the disappearance of the Mayans was due to the indiscriminate logging of their forests, which decreased rainfall and increased droughts and soil erosion, making agriculture impossible. This led to the inevitable collapse of the entire society. This story is a good warning for the current state of our planet. We must take good care of our forests. The paint of the terracotta soldiers. The terracotta soldiers are a collection of almost 9,000 statues of soldiers, which were buried with the first Chinese emperor Qin Shi Huang to serve as his imperial guard in the afterlife. What most surprised the scientists is that, despite being surrounded by water, the soldiers still had a thin layer of paint on them. According to a study conducted by Chinese scientists, the artists who created the sculptures applied at least 2 types of lacquer from the Chinese lacquer tree, then used the pigments and finally covered them with glue of animal origin. Imagine using that paint for your home. You wouldn't have to paint it for hundreds of years. The mystery of the Blood Falls. The Blood Falls are found in the Taylor Glacier in East Antarctica and were discovered by photographer Thomas Griffin Taylor in 1911. This mystery puzzled scientists for more than a century. The most accepted theory claimed that the coloration of the falls was due to the high concentrations of red algae. But in 2017, study proved that, in reality, the reddish color of the falls was due to a high concentration of ferrous oxide within the glacier, which is why, when in contact with water, it produces that bloody color. Hessdalen Lights. These lights are a luminous phenomenon that has been occurring in the Hessdalen Valley, Norway, since the 1940s. The event has become so famous that thousands of tourists flock to the site to witness and photograph it. And although scientists investigated the phenomenon for a long time, generating multiple theories, only until a few years ago, they were able to find the answer to this mystery. According to them, the lights are formed due to a gas that is filled with energy, generating a substance known as plasma, which is full of energy particles. Without a doubt, nature offers us spectacles worthy of admiration, although they are difficult to explain. The Bermuda Triangle. This area of water is located between Florida, Puerto Rico, and Bermuda. Popular legends claim that there is a kind of malevolent force there that causes ships, planes, and their crews to disappear, never to be seen again. And although many people continue to believe the legends, the truth is that the Bermuda Triangle has already been demystified. According to several investigators, it was concluded that the Bermuda Triangle does not represent real danger for those who cross it, and that all the accidents that have occurred are due to bad weather. In turn, they claim that the remains of accidents are actually recovered, so that nothing and no one really disappears in the Bermuda Triangle. The Statues of Easter Island. For many tourists and travelers, the statues of Eastern Island, or Moais, are a true mystery. Due to their strange appearance and large size, urban legends claim that the statues were created by aliens who visited Earth millions of years ago. The truth is that the statues were carved by the inhabitants of the island, known as the Rapa Nui. According to historians, the statues represent important ancestors for the tribe and were placed with the intention of locating sources of fresh and drinking water. A rather curious way to mark places with this important resource. The disappearance of Keri Lynn Nixon. In a quiet and familiar neighborhood in New York, United States, a 16-year-old girl known as Keri Lynn disappeared without a trace on June 22, 1987. Her parents and authorities searched for months but could not find her. 2 years later, Keri's parents claimed to have seen her in a music video for a band their daughter adored. But upon further investigation, they realized that the girl in the video was just someone very similar to their daughter. The truth of the story is an unfortunate one, since the body of Keri Lynn Nixon was found near their home in 1994. The young woman was murdered by a bank robber and buried in an unnamed grave. The Sphinx. This stone monument is located in Giza, Egypt, and represents a mythological creature with the body of a lion and the head of a human. When it was first discovered, archaeologists did not know what or how it was built. So some people began to speculate that it was of alien origin or a kind of gift from beings from beyond. However, after extensive research, scientists discovered that the statue was built by the people of ancient Egypt in honor of the pharaoh and his god Horus, as well as a place to hide and care for important treasures. Unsolved mysteries are unusually very attractive to all people. So in our quest to discover and understand what really happened, many decide to invent theories for which they have no evidence or that lack any scientific logic. Luckily, science is always at the service of knowledge to show us what actually happened in those events that were believed inexplicable. So do you know any other mysteries that have been solved recently? Thanks for watching the video, and I hope to see you next time. Remember to click the bell icon after you subscribe so you can get instant notifications of all our new videos.